It is that time of the season again. Time for another tier list. This one for Season 9 weapons. And despite there being no new weapons added to the game, with the balance changes that they did for Season 9, there's definitely going to be a big shakeup in this tier list compared to last season. Let's get into it. All right, first up on the list, we got the 9.3R. I'm going to put the 9.3R in the A tier. I think this gun is still very good. It did receive some nerfs, obviously, like everybody was wanting. Still a very good weapon if you land those headshots. Just not as good as it used to be, which is kind of nice if I do say so myself. I was very, very annoyed playing against this weapon. Next up, we got the ARN. I'm going to put this right in the A tier as well, just above the 9.3R. The fact that this gun has 60 bullets in a clip absolutely blows my mind. I will never understand that. And the recoil on this weapon is essentially non-existent, making it a little bit better than the 9.3R. The DPS you can put out, the consistent damage is a lot better, and for sure a solid pick in ranked. Next up, we got the dagger, and this is going to be the first weapon I'm going to put in the D tier. This weapon just isn't really good. There's a lot of inconsistencies with backstabbing and stuff like that, and I don't really see anybody pull this thing out in ranked, let alone in like World Tour or anything like that. I don't see many people use this weapon at all. There's definitely some type of rework that is required for this weapon, that's for sure. Next up, we got the LH1, and unfortunately, I have to put this weapon at the very top of B tier, though. This is probably the best B tier weapon. In my opinion, this thing is so low just because of the recoil nerfs that they made such a long time ago. Makes this weapon incredibly inconsistent for me. Maybe it's just because I'm on keyboard and mouse. I do know that this weapon is very easy on controller, so maybe that's just me. This is just my opinion. I think this is going to stay in the B tier for now. Next up here, we got our first S tier weapon. That's going to be the M11. This is probably the best weapon you can use on light right now. It is super fast time to kill, 40 bullets in the magazine, super fast fire rate, get up in their face, delete someone, and get out. This is hands down the best weapon in the game right now on light class. The next one here is one of my personal favorites, the M26 Matter. I really, really like this gun. I'm going to put this thing in the A tier. I think it's a little bit worse than the 9.3R, but like I say this every single time I talk about the M26. It is one buff away from being an absolutely insane weapon. It's basically a pre-nerf model. This thing has really good range, pretty decent damage as well, as long as you know the fire rate timings and you can get in and out. Really, really good with dash. Definitely give the M26 a try in World Tour. If you want to bust it out in rank 2, super, super good. All right, now next up is the bow, and this might surprise a lot of you, but I'm going to put the bow in the B tier. I think this weapon is actually really good, especially if you put time into learning the arc, learning the timings and everything on this weapon, the combos you can do as well. This gun is really, really good in the right hands. I'm not saying that anybody can pick it up and just use it because it's not overpowered like that. It definitely requires some time put in. Definitely worth the reward if you want to pick up this weapon for sure. Next up, we got everybody's favorite pub stomping weapon, the Neon Guts Special, the double barrel. Now, this thing I think I'm going to put in the C tier. This is more of a World Tour weapon, not necessarily a ranked weapon. It does get outranged by almost everything in the game, but there are some absolute demons out there on the double barrel, but definitely not the best choice for ranked. Next up, we got the sniper. Now, I'm going to put the sniper in the D tier. Honestly, I think the sniper is pretty bad. I don't see it busted out much. I can probably count on one hand the amount of times I've seen someone run sniper in ranked, and there's probably been one good player I've ever seen use this weapon. Super fun for modes like terminal attack, power shift, even team deathmatch. This weapon can be super fun, and I know there's a lot of nice clips out there, but for practicality's sake in ranked, this is definitely not the choice. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to say the same thing for the next one here, the sword. I'm going to put the sword in the D tier as well. I know that this weapon used to be really, really good, but they did make a lot of nerfs to it. And with the movement you can do, it does get you around the map pretty nicely. But unfortunately, if you do want to be really good with this gun, you do have to put a lot of time into mastering the sword. I've seen some nice sword players, I'm not going to lie, but definitely not the best thing in the world, especially for ranked scenarios as well. The next one on the list here will be the throwing knives. Now, I think the throwing knives are actually not bad. I'm going to put them above the double barrel at the top of C tier, though. I think the throwing knives are super good. You can get a lot of combos with these things, and just the ability that they don't have to reload and you can just hold left click and dash around. Super, super good. Definitely not the best in ranked. I've never actually seen anybody do that well with these in ranked, but definitely a super, super good pub stomping weapon for sure. And we got two more left on the light class. The first one here being the newly buffed V9S. Now, I think the V9S is probably at the very top of A tier. I don't think the V9S is S tier. I know this is probably going to be a hot take for a lot of people, but I really don't think this gun is that good. I don't really feel threatened by it when I come up against it in ranked. Even when I die to it, I don't think I really died to something overpowered. Maybe that's just me. Let me know what you guys think of this weapon. I know everybody in the world thinks this gun is super, super S tier right now. I don't know. That's just my take. I don't think the V9S is that good. Definitely the best A tier weapon, though, in the game. but definitely not on the same level as the M11. I think the M11 is light years better than the V9S. And last up on the list, the XP54, the lost child, the poster child of the light class that everybody likes. I'm going to put this in the B tier. I think this gun is really good. It just suffers from damage inconsistencies, and the range isn't the greatest either. Everybody wants this gun to be meta again. I want this gun to be meta again. It is super, super fun. Really nice recoil pattern. It even sounds nice. Everything about the XP is just super, super awesome. I like this gun, but unfortunately I have to put in the B tier. Embark has done this gun real dirty. And that's it for light. Let's move on to the medium class now. All right, moving over to the medium class. First up on the list here, we got the AK, and I think the AK is probably an A tier weapon right now. This gun has a lot of consistencies with the damage output that it has. The range is really good on this thing, and with mesh being really good and the heal meta being really good, it is all about keeping up that damage on the opponents and pressuring their shields. And with the magazine size that the AK offers, this one is really, really good. Definitely a solid pick. Not the best one on the medium class, obviously, but definitely a solid one if you're running heal beam or anything like that. Next up here, we got the very first S tier one for the medium, and that's going to be obviously the repeater. The repeater is still S tier. They didn't nerf it from last season. It is super good still. It can like two-shot lights, everything like that. Super, super good. Really good range, really good headshot damage. Definitely do not sleep on the repeater. Pick this thing up. It is super, super good. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same for the next one here, the Cerberus. I'm going to have to put this in the C tier. This gun just isn't good anymore. I wasn't really a fan of when it was meta. However, they have gutted this thing down to the bones. It is probably going to be in the C tier for me, like I said. The fire aspect on this gun is still really nice. Definitely better close range options out there for sure. Next up here, we got everybody's favorite meme weapon, the CL40. I'm sure nobody liked when this gun was meta, but I'm going to put this thing in the C tier as well. Definitely not that great anymore. You have to be really accurate with this thing, which can be kind of hard given the fact that it is a projectile and it does travel pretty slow. You have to be pretty accurate to get maximum damage on this thing, which is nice. I'm not saying that they should make this thing good like it used to be, but it's definitely in a good spot right now, I think. I don't think it should be meta. I think meta weapons in this game need to be something that you can actually aim with. And speaking of weapons you don't have to aim with, the next up are the dual blades. I'm gonna have to put these in the D tier though. Despite the buff that they just got, you can actually combo a lot more people now. You can combo heavies and combo mediums like you weren't able to before. You had to throw in quick melees and stuff like that. They still have a lot of big inconsistencies with the deflect and stuff like that, so definitely not the best choice on medium. If you want to meme and play World Tour and casual things like that, definitely do not bust these things out in rank. They are not the greatest at all. Next up, we got the FAMAS, and there hasn't been many balance changes to the FAMAS, so I'm going to keep this in the S tier. It is still super good, right alongside the repeater. I think both of these guns are pretty equal. Very, very good. I don't think there's much to say about the FAMAS here. Next up, we got the FCAR, and I know all my aimers out here are probably going to hate me for this, but I think I'm going to put the FCAR in the B tier. And honestly, it just lacks with magazine size. If you miss 1 or 2 bullets on the FCAR, you got to spend that time reloading and trying to find your target again to keep shooting them, which could very well leave you in a vulnerable position and leaving you out to die. The FCAR definitely is not like what it used to be. This thing used to be really, really good back in Season 1 and Season 2. You could definitely still frag out in World Tours and stuff like that, but if you're looking for an automatic weapon choice, I would just go more towards the AK because it's more consistent in every other aspect, honestly. Next up, we got the model, and I'm going to have to give the model the same kind of treatment I gave the FCAR. I'm going to put it in the B tier, just below the FCAR. This thing suffers from a lot of the same things, a lot of inconsistencies. It takes a really long time to kill heavies with the model. Definitely not the greatest weapon to choose. I'm not going to lie. I've seen some people put it a little bit higher than this, even put it in the A tier. I definitely am not threatened when I see a medium running the model, that's for sure. Next up here, we got the P90. Now, despite the fact that we just got a diamond skin for the P90, this weapon screams bronze skill level. Unless you're shooting everybody who is half HP, don't even think about challenging heavies with this weapon. It is definitely not very good. And for that, I am going to have to put it over in the B tier as well. Probably the lowest on the B tier. Definitely not very good. The damage is super, super low. I know it's got 50 bullets in the clip, but like I said, unless you're shooting people that are half health, definitely not the best option. Unfortunately, the same thing is going to have to be said for the Pike. I am going to put the Pike in the B tier, though. It's a little bit better than the P90, but definitely not what it used to be. The nerfs that they gave to the Pike were super, super heavy. This thing has been knocked down a lot of tiers. I don't even see it used that often anymore, if I'm being completely honest. So I think this is going to sit comfortably in the B tier for me until they do any type of changes to it. Now, next up is a weapon that got no buffs, but the European region has somehow put this weapon on the map. It is going to be the Revolver. I'm going to put this weapon in the A tier. I think it is super good, actually. It's especially on certain maps. I'm talking Fortune Stadium, Las Vegas, things like that, where you can play within its optimal range. This one is insane. Vanguard actually was really good at using this weapon as well. We busted this shit out and absolutely killed it. Super good. Like I said, this weapon has had no changes, no buffs, nothing to it. It just took some people putting it on the map for everyone else to notice. And last up on the list, everybody's favorite weapon with the most amount of bugs in the game, it feels like, the Riot Shield. I get to put the Riot Shield over in the D tier, though. This weapon is not the greatest. Like I said, it does have a lot of bugs. I think it is better than the dual blades when you're talking melee weapons specifically. But at the end of the day, this weapon does suffer from just being a melee weapon and not being able to shoot bullets. It is a good distraction weapon for sure, but definitely not when you're trying to clean up fights and stuff like that. That's going to be it for the medium class. Let's move on to the final one here, the heavy. If you guys are still around and you're enjoying this video, make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe and tell me your favorite weapon in the finals, regardless of this tier list, if it's high or low. Let me know what your favorite weapon is in the finals down below. You guys are awesome. Let's get into the last one here, the heavy. All right, first up on the heavy list is going to be the dualies. I think these weapons are really, really good. I'm going to put them at the top of A tier. Definitely a solid staple for ranked. Super good consistent damage. You'd be really accurate with these things, but the headshot damage on the dualies is absolutely astronomically insane. You will get rewarded immensely for hitting headshots. Definitely good weapons. Pick these up if you want. They are good with almost anything. Mesh shield, goo gun, charge and slam, anything like that. Even winch they can be good with as well, because it almost guarantees you to land a headshot. Definitely give the dualies a try. Next one is the BFR, and despite the BFR nerfs they've had, the rate of fire, things like that, I think this weapon is still S tier. Do I think it's the best S tier weapon in the game? No, I don't. We're going to get to that in a little bit, but for now, I think this is still a very, very solid weapon. Super high damage. Even with the winch nerfs, you can't really do the combo anymore, but super, super good. You can kill a lot of people from a very, very far distance with this weapon. Next up, we got our first C tier weapon. I think this is going to be the flamethrower. Now, in the right hands, the flamethrower can be good, especially if you put some time into it. I do have some videos on my channel talking about how good the flamethrower can be if you run very specific loadouts. It does require your team to kind of play around you a little bit because your range is very, very limited. But if you put the time in, learn the combos and things like that, mesh shield juggling now, super, super good with this weapon. Definitely give the flamethrower a try. However, it's just not going to be one of those weapons that I think is going to be the absolute best for ranked play. Next up, we got the KS-23. I'm going to put the KS-23 over in the B tier. I think the ability to prime walls and break walls with 2 shots with this weapon is severely underrated. It's kind of like having a Wish.com version of Dematerializer on heavy. I always compare it to things like that. It is super, super good with the destruction. You do have to be pretty accurate with this thing, though, because it is a single shot. And once you get out of that 25, I think 25 or 30 meter radius, it does turn into a projectile again, which is kind of inconsistent. I think they need to pick one or the other. Just make it a slug at all ranges or make it hit scan at all ranges. So I think that's where the inconsistencies do lie a little bit with this weapon. But it is super good. Working in a team environment, very, very good. Definitely pick up the KS-23 if you want to work with your team a little bit. Provide a little bit more utility for them as well. Next up, we got our first automatic weapon. That's going to be the Lewis gun. I think the Lewis gun is going to go in the A tier, just below the dualies, strictly due to the fact that the damage on the dualies is so much better than the Lewis gun. However, when it comes to close and medium range, the Lewis gun does shine a little bit more. Definitely not as good as the dualies, but I still like the Lewis gun. Definitely a very, very solid staple for me in ranked. The next one here is a gun that I've been kind of toying with a little bit, and I think it is super fun. However, it does require your team to build completely around you for it to be 100% effective, and that is the minigun. I'm going to put the minigun over in the A tier, though. Like I said, it is still very, very good, especially when you get that revved up and you're waiting for people around corners. It causes so much destruction, and you can absolutely delete people. You can delete heavies so fast. Shields, barriers, bubbles, anything you can think of gets absolutely evaporated with this thing. It is super good, a very good support weapon, but just not the best outside of shotgun range, for example. Anywhere outside of that is very hard. However, the accuracy buffs that they did give it this season has improved its range a little bit, but definitely not the greatest to the point where I would say use it over the Lewis gun or anything like that. Next up, we got the M60. Now, I'm going to put the M60 in the B tier. It's going to go higher than the KS-23. The accuracy buffs they gave the M60 this season is super, super good. However, it does suffer from damage, and the range isn't that great on it, I feel like. But like I said, this thing is an absolute laser beam. You can beam people from very, very far. All right, next up here, we got the MGL. Now, outside of me watching Truce's clips on TikTok, I do not see this gun used at all. I have to put it in the D tier, unfortunately. This gun needs a massive rework for it to be any type of viable in any team scenario at all. It does cause a lot of destruction with charge and slam and this gun, but definitely not the most viable in a ranked team scenario. However, that's going to be the complete opposite for the next weapon here, the SA SA-12. I think the SA-12 is probably the best weapon in the game on heavy. It always has been, always will be the most consistent thing. They're not changing anything about the SA-12. They changed a bit of the recoil a little bit ago, but it hasn't really affected this weapon's placement in anybody's tier list. This thing will always be good, super, super consistent, especially with Winch, Mesh Shield, Charge and Slam even. Goo Gun this thing's a little bit iffy with, but the other 3 specs are super good with SA-12. Do not sleep on this weapon. And I think I could literally pair it what I just said for the next one here, the Shack. I think the Shack is super good. I'm going to put it above the BFR, I'm not going to lie. I prefer the Shack over the BFR. A lot of consistent close range damage. Same thing with the SA-12. The Shack is good with almost every single spec in the game. I've used it with every single one and found a lot of success with all of them. Not much else to say about the Shack there. Definitely a solid all-around heavy weapon with a very easy learning curve compared to something like the SA-12. And the final 2 weapons on the list are going to be both of the melee weapons. We're going to start off with the Sledgehammer. I'm going to put the Sledgehammer in the C tier. I think it is very, very good for its destruction capabilities, everything like that. You can one-shot lights with this thing. Very, very nice. However, I just think it suffers again. Same thing like I said for the Riot Shield. It suffers from the fact that you can't shoot any bullets. So cleaning up kills and chasing kills is very, very difficult. And unfortunately, it's going to be the same thing for the Spear. I'm going to put the Spear in the D tier, though, strictly because the damage on the Spear is not very good. The range is better than the Sledgehammer, but the damage on this thing is absolutely insane. They need to make some ridiculous reworks to the Spear for it to be any type of valuable at all. I definitely do not recommend picking up this gun unless you want to mess around and play some Power Shift, play some World Tour, any of the casual modes for sure, but do not give this gun a go in ranked. You will not have a good time at all. And guys, this is going to be it for the tier list video today. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe down below. I would greatly appreciate it. Be sure to stay tuned for more finals content. Let me know what your favorite weapon is in the finals down below. Hope you all enjoyed. Have a great day, everybody. Peace out.